Okay.
Hello, everybody. C. Ray Barrow here with Your Perfect Home. And today we got Corinne Andrews with Cross Country Mortgage, and she's got a whole bunch of stuff to give us coming up next. Well, a couple of technical difficulties there to get us started, but we're here today. How's it going, Corinne?
Oh, it's good. Thank you. Yes, just a couple little glitches.
Yeah, well, such is technology. We probably
Sure.
got grabbed by the Russians or the Chinese. We've been being routed that direction right now. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm pretty close to the lab here in Livermore. Maybe that's it.
That's true. You're pretty close to Lawrence Livermore, too. Yeah. So how have things been since the last time we've been together?
Oh, busy and in a good way. Personally, I have a daughter who's getting married, and we're down to 7 weeks before the wedding, and have a lot of people coming in from a bunch of different states. So I'm really looking forward to that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be
Very,
really
very
good.
cool. You're seven
Yeah.
weeks, and we are, let's see, what's today? The 23rd. So we are 10 days.
Oh.
For 11 days, 10 days, 11 days. Next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, the following one.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'll have to catch up with you after that and see how things went. I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's been coming together well. Although mother of the bride and the bride are kind of, but that's normal, right?
Yeah. I had a wedding shower for her not last weekend. I think it was the weekend before. And we had it inside. I scheduled it inside, which was good because I just was so worried about what the weather was going to be. We had so much
Yeah.
rain. So that was a good plan. So while it was sunny, it was still pretty darn cool a couple of weeks ago. So that all worked well. And it was nice.
It was a little cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And we've been concerned about the weather ourselves because getting married in Olympic Valley, which I know is politically incorrect to call it by its old name, Squaw Valley.
Oh,
For
okay.
those that don't know, it's been renamed.
Yeah.
But it has been probably 15 years ago now. It's been a while that me and my bride decided that we were going to spend a little time at the timeshare in Tahoe, and we left on May 30th to drive up. And the weather report was for rain here, lots of rain here, and a possibility of snow above 6,000 feet. And she says, should we be worried? And I said, we're going on 88. I'm not sure what that pass on 88 is, but if it's 6,000, it's barely 6,000 over there. Well, the passing lane right before you take the last climb to the top, it started coming down just a little bit.
Oh.
And we were passing a hay truck.
Oh.
I go around the hay truck, and she's falling back a little bit. She's on the right side to be passing, but she's falling back a little bit. I see her get in front of the hay truck. I continue driving, and all of a sudden I look behind me, and there's like 3 cars, and I don't see her.
Oh.
So I slow down, and I kind of nudge over, trying to let people to go by, but no, they wanted me to be the lead dog. All the way to the top, all the way back down, stopped at Kirkwood.
Okay.
Pulled into Kirkwood and let those 3 cars go by. She's not right behind them. A couple of more cars go by. The hay truck goes by. A couple of more cars go by, and I go, oh my God, she must be stuck on the side of the road somewhere.
Oh.
Turn around. I head back up the hill. Now on that side, it's sunny and beautiful. There's nothing, no snow on the ground or nothing. And as I'm going up, she's coming down. And I tell everybody she didn't need her headlights on because she had hold of the steering wheel just like this, and her knuckles were white. Since there's nobody coming either way, I stopped and stuck my hand out the window and tried to get her to stop, and she went just like this. She
Oh
would not
gosh.
slow down until we got to the 89 turnoff.
Oh yeah. You never know about the Sierras. It can turn really, really quickly. That's
Yeah.
happened more than once of things trips that we've taken. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, we both got a couple of weddings coming up. That's wonderful.
Yep.
But I bet everybody's really a lot more interested
Yeah.
in hearing you talk about the self-employed buyers program that
Hmm.
you've got going that
Hmm.
you were telling me about a little bit
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So, what is special right now about the way you guys are handling that?
Okay. So, for those folks, who are self-employed and have experienced trying to get qualified for loans, it can be difficult because if you work at the lab, if you work for Safeway, you've got pay stubs and W-2s and your bank statements, and you're easily able to show how much money that you make. Those are, kind of basics of lending. A couple of pay stubs, a couple of W-2s. There's not too much more than that for just a regular job.
Right.
Um, and easy paperwork for people to get a hold of. Generally, people can print or get you their pay stubs or something. And even nowadays, it's much easier because almost everybody has it electronically.
Yeah.
But if you're self-employed, you likely do not have a regular paycheck stub issued by some corporation. And you are probably handling your income. You're being paid for whatever service you're providing or company you have as a self-employed person, and you're reporting your income on a separate schedule. Or if you're a corporation, then you have a whole corporate tax return that you're looking at. Now, the beauty of being self-employed is that you have a whole lot of write-offs that
Oh, yeah.
I don't have. You get to take your mileage and your lunches for business people and your paper supplies and your copy machine and what you pay your employees if you have
You
any.
can't write off the cakes you bake?
No, no, I can't. But anyway, so all of these write-offs, that's very appealing if you're self-employed because you got a ton of write-offs. But when you look at that tax return, you're like, ooh, the bottom line doesn't show I make a whole lot of money. And what is it that lenders look at? They look at that bottom line. They want to see, well, after you paid your taxes, how much are you making? Not so much.
Yeah.
And this is a common thing that happens. And so, in light of that, that's where, getting qualified for being self-employed can be difficult because you've made a house payment, you're paying your PG&E bill and your credit cards and your car payment and sending kids to college, so you're making money, you know what's happening, but you just can't really prove it to an underwriter. So we look at this from a different way. We will take your bank statements, your business bank statements and your personal bank statements, and we will review those anywhere from using 12 months up to 24 months. And I have a big, giant spreadsheet that I do. And I say, okay, how much money are you putting in your account every month? What are your sales? Where's your money come from? And I'll give you an example of a liquor store owner. In my next life, I'm going to own a liquor store. They got sales because people go to the liquor store if they're happy or if they're sad or they're just okay. The sales are always going on, no matter what. And they got their lottery sales, and if people are still smoking, I guess they have those sales too. But there is a constant flow of money coming in, and so that's one really good example that I can think of. So anyway, we look at those deposits. What are they really taking in? How much money is coming in? Is it consistent? And again, I do this big spreadsheet and I look at all that information for anywhere between 12 and 24 months. And based on the amount of money that you're bringing in, we'll give you, we do a calculation and we give you a certain percentage of that as your income. And so if it's $10,000 a month, 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, whatever it works out to be, that is your income. There's no more trying to, we've got to have, we're not getting your CPA to write a letter to tell us how much you're really making. We're not looking at adjustments. They're not doing this big analysis of your tax returns. We're looking off how much money are you bringing in. So it's actually a much simpler review of your income. And then we apply that dollar amount, whatever we come up with, as your income, and we work from there. So do you make enough money, and what we will give you credit for, to get a mortgage, to buy a house? And it's relatively simple. It probably sounds complicated to go through 24 months of bank statements, and that's a big stack of paper.
Yeah.
But I was in banking for 20 years. I'm used to lots of paper. But anyway, so that's how the qualification takes place. Now, you have to pass the minimum credit requirements as you do on any loan. You have to have been self-employed for a couple of years. You can't just have started 6 months ago. But it really does help people who cannot use their tax returns, or just based on the type of business they have, especially if it's a lot of all cash businesses. It really helps those folks to get into a house, because it's always been so difficult in the past. So anyway, you can buy a primary residence. You can buy a rental with this type of calculation. You can buy a second home. They can be single family residences, duplexes, PUDs, condominiums, any of the normally accepted type of homes that you could buy with traditional financing. So, you can also do refinances. You need to refinance for some reason, take some cash out, etc. So I think that is one of the, I don't know if it's the easiest loans going, but it certainly helps people who just can't use their tax returns for a variety of reasons. And again,
Sure.
That's the beauty of being self-employed. You get to be your own boss. You get to make your own schedule. You may have a
That's a laugh.
Yeah. kind of you get to make your own schedule. But it is,
Sounds good.
yeah, it really takes into consideration someone who really truly is making money, who can afford to make a payment. And the question might be, oh, well, I guess I probably have to put like 50% down or 40%. No, they can do it with 10% down. So there's a lot of flexibility built into this. And so it's good to let people know that if they're unable to go down that, conventional road, there's some other options for them.
Very nice. So I guess one of the, you take that total amount. So one of the questions that would come to my mind, and maybe to other people listening, would be, you've taken that, you take a percentage of that, you said. Mm-hmm. Now, from that percentage, does their personal DTI still come into effect, or the percentage takes into account their personal DTI?
Yes. So once we come to a figure, and for easy math, I'm just going to say, let's say we come up with, we'll give you credit for $10,000 a month. You can use 50% of that income for a house payment and any other debt you have. And I know those numbers are kind of low in this environment, but that was just for easy math, just to give you an example. Yeah. Right. So it's generous on that end, where most jumbo loans, they don't go anywhere near 50% debt ratio. It's just, they just don't go up to that type of debt ratio. They're substantially lower, anywhere between like 38 and 42 of a percentage typically. Right. So yeah, it opens up a little bit for that as well.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. So it's I've done a few of these lately, and what's also nice about it is, because we're not looking at pay stubs and W-2s and other pieces of income, and it's just one thing that we're looking at.
Right.
And we don't pick apart all the little deposits. We're not saying, well, we need copies of all these deposits, which that will happen for Someone who's not self-employed, you had a large deposit. Let's say you had a check of $10,000 or $15,000 put into your account. Now we want to know where that money came from. We want to know who gave you that money. Is somebody lending you some money? Where did it come from? What is it? Is it a legitimate deposit that you would normally have into your account? So, but if you're a business owner, we just look at the dollar amounts. We're not getting copies of it. We're not asking for copies of checks. How much was cash? How much was this piece or that piece? We just take the dollar amounts. It almost seems kind of simple. And when I first did one of these, I'm like, oh, this kind of seems so simple. There must be something else that's going to cause me a problem. I'm sure that's got to be more complicated. I was sure of it. And it's just not. It's kind of amazing. I think it's amazing. I think
That's fantastic. Now, is this program kind of an exclusive for cross country?
I can tell you that our head office has agreements with companies, banking institutions who will fund these types of loans.
Okay.
So it's not going to be anybody, like the big names, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Nothing against them. I have nothing against them. It's just they're not doing that type of lending. So these are more regional banks. I would call it regional banks that are, offering the financing for that. And then it's done, through the head office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So usually the smaller institutions have a little easier guidelines and what have you. So that makes a bunch of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah. And they're not some loan that it's like, there's a prepayment penalty for 5 years or 10 years, or, we get a certain percentage of something or other. There's nothing, I would say no trickery, if that's the right word about that.
No trickery. I like trickery.
I see some interesting loans out there, specifically second mortgages that are very interesting, that customers have sent me copies of, things that are going on right now. So those are very interesting. That's another topic we should talk about. So.
Yes, that would be a different rabbit hole we could run down.
Exactly. So.
All right. Well, that is fantastic. I really appreciate you getting on today. We're wrapping up to the end of our time, even though it was a little short today because we had those technical difficulties. We'll have to check our internet connections and all that stuff a little sooner next time. Make sure that all these things are working the way they're supposed to. Everybody, Corinne Andrews, Cross Country Mortgage, one of my favorite people. And I call her the baking loan officer because she's better than sex cake. And thank you again. Any questions about that? Her information's been scrolling across the bottom. You know how to get hold of her. You always know how to get hold of me, and I can put the two of you in connection. Go out and be the sunshine in somebody's rainy day. And of course, never forget to see Ray to find your perfect home. We'll see you all later. Thank you so much.